We've got a hydraulic issue here with our 1025R. The symptoms are that the front third function's not working. We're going to take a look at that and try to diagnose what's going on. Let's get started. The factory third function is not working properly. It appears to be stuck. At first I thought it was a cable. There's a cable that actually goes up to the joystick with the two buttons on it, and we thought that that had failed. We had had trouble with that in the past. I didn't even look any further. I just went ahead and ordered this cable, and it was $107 for a cable, which was kind of steep, I thought. Well, cable and two buttons and all, so I mean there's some circuitry to it, I suppose. But that didn't fix it. And we really had kind of thought it might not fix it, but we were just, I guess, dealing with the easiest thing. But I should have paid attention to my own videos. This is the same kind of valve up under there. We'll show you where Ken from Bolt-On Hooks showed us how you can unstick these valves when they get stuck. Typically these valves get stuck by non-use, meaning they haven't been used for several months, and it might be something that happens right after winter if you haven't used your tractor all winter. But in this case, we had been using the tractor all morning, right? We had used it for at least an hour and then it stuck, and so that's why we expected something else other than the valve sticking. But we're going to take a look up under here now.
I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but right here is this poker hole that Ken was talking about. And we're just taking this little screwdriver and just pushing in there to get that valve to move, and as you can see, it is moving. And there's another one on the other end. And if we can get to it, we'll do the same thing.
Is it moving?
It's moving.
Okay, now we need to try again.
All right.
That's a factory third function on these model of Deere tractors. This went from, I'm guessing, somewhere in the 2018 to 2024 era, maybe not quite 2024. Later they moved the third function to make it a little more accessible, a little easier to install. And earlier there was no factory third function.
And then you said this is the first thing in the hydraulic loop?
I think it is, pretty close to the first thing. My question to you is, was there any resistance at all on either one?
Yeah, both of them were kind of stuck, so. And okay. They're both free moving, like they've got a springy function to them currently. He's gonna start the tractor and work the valve. Hit one of them. Okay, that one's good. Yeah, okay, they're working.
Can you push it in with your screwdriver, the little end thing? Use your tiny screwdriver and see if you can push it in.
Hit your button.
I've been doing the buttons kind of back and forth and holding them a good while as you were.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
You weren't able to push them?
No, they're pushed in.
They were pushing.
I was able to push them in while you were hitting them.
We figured out the problem here on Johnny X, and it seems like a great time for me to kind of explain the hydraulic system. I've done a little of this, maybe not to this level of detail. And just to kind of tell you, this problem turned out to be really simple once we understood what was going on and made us look kind of like doofuses. But in order for you not to look like a doofus, I'm going to kind of explain how the hydraulics work here. So this is the hydraulic tank, and every open center hydraulic system is just a big loop. So from the tank, the pump sucks the oil out of the tank and pumps the oil in a loop continuously. Okay? All small tractors that I know of have open center hydraulics, and so there's just one big loop that pumps all the time. It's inefficient, especially for larger tractors, but it's cost effective, and it's the way small tractors work. Larger tractors have something called closed center hydraulics. I'm not as familiar with that, but there's not one big loop. I think every circuit becomes more independent in those scenarios. Again, I'm not knowledgeable about that, but I am knowledgeable about these open center systems. Our symptoms are that the loader lift and curl is working. So if we start from the tank, the pump's working here, loader lift and curl is working. And then if we don't do any lift or curl function at all, we can hear the engine pulling down. Well, in that scenario, we know that it's pumping, it's going to over the relief valve. There's a lot of pressure here, and then that oil is returning, and so the loop becomes through the relief valve, okay? If we do the loader lift and curl, we notice that the engine lets up, and you don't hear the same strain on the engine. So in that case, we know that, I'm gonna draw another arrow here, that in the case of loader lift and curl, we have a return to tank straight out of that valve as well. So we can recognize that when the lift and curl is working in action, that the return is going to tank, and that's working fine. If there's no loader lift and curl function happening, if we're not moving the joystick, then it's trying to pump the oil on around here, and somewhere there's an obstruction. Somewhere it's not being able to get the oil pumped. So what's happening is since the pump pumps all the time, if it didn't have a relief valve, it would tear up the pump, tear up a lot of things, hoses, who knows what. So as soon as we have an obstruction somewhere in this loop, the relief valve serves as relief, okay? So the symptoms indicate that we have a problem either in the factory third function, which is what we assumed because that wasn't working. It could be in the three-point hitch, though that's unlikely. That's internal. How about the power beyond? That's where our problem is going to be. Let's show you. So the engine is under load right now. You can tell the hydraulics are in relief. And then if I lift, you can hear the tractor. While it's moving, it's actually, the tractor's not stressing while we're actually operating these two functions. But you can hear it in relief when we're not doing anything. So that describes what's going on here. While we're using a lift or curl function, it is returning to tank that direction. Otherwise, it's returning over the relief valve, which means there's full pressure right here, and that pulls the engine down. It's probably back here at the power beyond. So here's our issue right here on the power beyond hose. It looks like it's plugged in, but it's not, okay? So the loop is broken right here. There's no way this oil can move. And when we're in that scenario, my three-point hitch, it'll go down, but it won't come back up, right? It won't do anything. My Summit kit, which is supposed to be plugged into the power beyond, those valves won't do anything. I can't tip the top link, okay? Nothing's happening there. So that's indicating that we have a break in the loop at the power beyond. And sure enough, we had it unplugged here. So let's plug that back in. Now we've got the power beyond connected. We should see the three-point hitch come up as soon as we start the engine. And we can tell by the tractor sound that it's not under stress, right? It's not under duress. It's working there. If you have a backhoe, you've taken your backhoe off and you've accidentally left this unplugged, these were the symptoms you're going to see. Your three-point hitch is not going to work. If you have a Summit kit connected to your power beyond, in our case, it came unhooked because of probably just rubbing against the ROPS down here. It got itself in a little bit of a bind and partially unhooked, and we couldn't even see it. But that's what the problem was. It was no big deal. And with a little bit of thought and diagnosis, we were able to figure out what it was. And hopefully with this drawing, it can help you too. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim.
So I turned my mind to understand, to investigate, and to search out wisdom and the scheme of things and understand the stupidity of wickedness and the madness of folly.